In this video, I'm going to show you how we use our SEO checklist to really streamline our keyword research, our SEO title optimization, and our SEO meta description optimizations. So this is our SEO checklist, and we use this checklist to do a variety of things. There's about 75 or 76 points on the checklist, and we're constantly updating this just to keep up with new ideas, but also new search engine algorithm changes and just new things that we discover that work to optimize websites. And so the thing I want to show you in this video is really how to streamline your keyword research and stay organized. And we do that with what's called a keyword map. And a keyword map is actually part of this checklist. If you click over on the tabs there, it shows the page name, the URL, the primary keyword, and the secondary keyword. And this is really where we start with our keyword research and then trying to figure out which terms we're going to target specific pages for. So the site that I'm going to be using is called CD Dirtworks. It's a small excavating company in central Alabama, and we've done a good bit of optimization work for them already. So this is their website. It's a pretty small, pretty simple little website. It just really functions as an online business card for them, but it also, we've optimized it pretty well in Google, and so you can search just about any term related to their business within central Alabama, and they're going to come up. And so if I were starting over on this site, what I would do is go in and find the specific pages that we want to optimize. And so obviously we're looking at the home page, but we have a services page which lists all of their services. And so these are nice little landing pages that link out to the various services. And then we have the individual service pages. And then of course we have an About Us and a Contact Us. Now the About Us is actually not a page. This is something I would probably change for them. It actually just reverts back to the home page and goes down to an About Us section. Probably should create an About Us page for them, but since this is what we have, we're going to focus on optimizing the home, the services, and then the individual services pages. Now, another thing about this company, if you go down to the bottom, we have built out these areas we serve. These are basically location pages, so that if I search any of these areas in conjunction with a search term like excavating, since that's a lot of what they do, if I search excavating and hauling in Trussville, Alabama, or if I happen to be in Trussville, Alabama when I search that term, then our goal is for these pages, these individual location pages, to show up. And so we're also going to want to look at optimizing those. So the very first thing that I want to do, if I were approaching this fresh, having never worked on this site before, I would want to get a list of all the pages. And so I've listed all the page names and the page URLs here in our spreadsheet. And so the next thing I want to do is try to figure out what terms are we going to target for each of these pages? In other words, each page needs to really represent a specific search term. Now, before we actually do any research, what I like to do is just kind of go from my gut and figure, if I'm an individual and I'm looking for the services that this company provides, what am I going to search for in Google? Now, this is none of the near me searches and none of the adding a city name or anything like that, just a pure search term. What am I going to look for? And so I think for the home page, I would simply look for excavating company. All right, so let's see what else. Services, I'm going to look for excavating services, driveways and building pads. So let's just say excavate my driveway. And again, we're just shooting from the hip here. We're totally just making this up. So land grading. So I would say, let's say land grading and clearing maybe. Dirt hauling, probably just dirt hauling. Or you can get creative here. You can say someone to haul away dirt, but we're just going to keep it simple here to say dirt hauling. Land clearing. Okay, so see, land grading and clearing. So land clearing is separate from land grading, so we'll just say land grading and then land clearing. And then lake and pond construction, let's just say lake construction. And then excavating, there actually is an excavating services page in addition to a services page. That may be a mistake. So here's something we do want to avoid. We don't want to have the same primary keyword on different pages. So I need to figure out what's going on there, why there's a services page and a excavating services page. Okay, and we can see right here there is a services page. So that's the general services, and then the excavating services is a specific service under services. That's a little bit confusing, but that's what we've got to work with. So I would say let's call that excavating services, and this needs to be called something else. We could say maybe excavating contractor services or something like that. So that's just our guessing, right? We're totally just thinking, logically speaking, what would somebody search for if they're looking for that page on my website? So then we jump over to the secondary keywords. Now this is totally optional. You don't have to put in secondary keywords, but sometimes it's really difficult to just pin down specifically, one keyword, one search term to a page, because maybe you have a lot of products or a lot of things you're saying on that particular page. In general, it's better to just drill down and focus on one, but maybe you just can't do that. And so so excavate my driveway. So there's building pads here too, right? So we could say excavation for a new building pad. Right, so that's a good secondary keyword, right? Since we're talking about a couple of things there. Lake and pond construction. So lake construction will be the primary, secondary might be pond construction. And so that's what this secondary column is for, is just for those extra terms that you really want to try to represent, but they really aren't strong enough to be the primary term. And again, all this is guesswork right now. So what we want to do first is go in and now prove and see if these terms are the right ones. So excavating company is where we're going to start. And this does take some time. So I'm using a tool called Ubersuggest. And so you'll see I'm already logged in to Ubersuggest. I believe there's a free version of this that allows you some capability to do keyword research. You can do free keyword research in a lot of different ways. So this is just one strategy. It's one we like to use. You can go straight to Google and do keyword research. It's totally fine. And then there are some great AI tools that you can utilize to do keyword research. So lots of options, just totally depends on what you're comfortable with. I like Ubersuggest. So we're going to say go to keyword research here, go to keyword ideas, and I've already put in excavating company since that's the term that we think people might search for. So what we want to see is what kind of volume are we looking at? This is search volume. This is average monthly search volume over the course of a year. We're looking at about 8,000 people nationwide that are looking for this term, excavating company. So that's a pretty good term. The search difficulty here is a 35, so we're kind of inching up into some competitiveness there, but overall that's not bad. We have the cost per click information here, which is kind of high, $4.11 per click on an average ad campaign. That's assuming we used Google Ads or something. But this is helpful. This lets us see, all right, 8,000 volume, search difficulty of 35. Now, can we beat it? Can we do better than that? So that's where these other ideas help. So we say excavation company near me. That gets 33,000 searches and a 22 search difficulty. Now, the hard part about doing a near me search is you don't necessarily want to put excavating company near me on your website, and you really shouldn't, because Google knows where you are. All right, so or the search engines in general know where you are. So that's not usually an issue. What this does tell me, though, is that excavating company is strong. Excavation company might even be stronger. All right, so we're going to try to find, we're going to do a different search on excavation company. The rest of these kind of start getting low quickly. In general, we're looking for above 100 in the search volume. And they're getting kind of low here. So let's go back and say, let's pull out excavating company and use excavation company and see if that gets any better terms. So, okay, excavation company, still at the same amount, 8,100. And again, these are averages, right? But the search difficulty is less. All right. So that tells me immediately that excavation company is probably going to be better to target than an excavating company. So all I would do is go back to my spreadsheet and I would change this from excavating to excavation company. And if you want to, sometimes it's helpful just to kind of organize this. Just pick a color here. We'll just pick green to let us know I've already researched that, and that's the one we're going to start with as we develop this keyword map further. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this out, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here's my completed keyword map, and you'll notice I've got primary and secondary keywords. One of the things you'll see here at the top is that we moved away from the excavation company term because I discovered that excavating contractors is actually a far better term. So check this out. So here we've got 18,000. Remember before, excavation companies only had 8,000. Excavating contractors has 18,000 with a search difficulty of 33. And so that is by far the clear winner for the search terms. And so we want to use that as our primary keyword. And you'll see these other ones kind of match up with what we were talking about. Land grading and dirt hauling just made total sense. Lake construction, we ended up going with lake and pond construction under the secondary keyword because nobody is actually searching pond construction. And so just to fill this out for good measure, that's where we landed. But all of that was based off of the data that we found in Ubersuggest. Now, that's step one, okay? That's organizing all of our keyword research. Now we got to figure out how are we going to get these terms on the page. And the primary ways that we're going to do that initially are through optimizing the SEO title and optimizing the SEO description. Now, inside WordPress, we use a plugin called Yoast, and Yoast SEO has some nice little places we can put these SEO titles and descriptions. So we're literally going to write them and then drop them into Yoast. So this is the back end of the homepage on CD Dirtworks, and if you come down to underneath the Divi builder there, you'll see there's this area for Yoast SEO. And right here is where the SEO title and the SEO meta description goes. So we create those, drop those in, just simple copy and paste. Of course, you have to write them, and they have to be written a certain way. You have character limits here. Yoast will tell you this is green, it looks good. Down here, it'll do the same thing. This meta description's a tad long, tad too long. We could shorten it up just a little bit, but this is probably going to be okay for most of our search result pages. So now what we want to do though, but obviously before we can put it in here, we have to write them. So we're going to jump over to Claude AI. Now, Claude AI is one of these AI language models. There's a lot of them out there. You've probably heard of ChatGPT, and I like ChatGPT. I have an account with them too. But for this kind of work, I like Claude better. I think Claude does a better job writing titles and meta descriptions and does a better job of correcting things when I tell it to. A little more personal, which is strange to say that an AI would be personable, but it is. So what we're going to do is go and grab our terms, and we're going to paste those into Claude. Now, I'm going to just jump down. Now, if you hold Shift Return, that gives you some spaces. If I just hit Return there, it would submit this, and Claude would be like confused about what I'm telling it. So I did Shift Return, it gives me an extra line, and I'm just going to say I am... So a couple of things about this prompt. Notice I'm using plain language. There's nothing super technical here. I'm telling Claude I'm optimizing a website for SEO. I need SEO titles written for each of the above keywords. I say keep them 65 characters or less, and that's about the character limit, the space limit that you need to show the entire title in the search engine results pages. And then I'm saying that the name of the company is CD Dirtworks because most often you want to include the name of the company in the SEO title. So we're going to see what Claude spits out here. And so very quickly, Claude gave us some titles. CD Dirtworks, Expert Excavating Contractors, Local Services. That's a little odd to me that it would phrase it that way. So I'm going to tell it to redo number one. But Reliable Excavating and Hauling Services, CD Dirtworks, Professional Driveway Excavation, Precise Land Grading Services, call. Now, okay, and again, number 4, I don't know that we need a call to action in the title. You usually do want to put a call to action in the description. We don't really need it in the title, so that's something else I can add. See, again, you have a call to action here. So we're going to say move the CD Dirtworks to the end of each SEO title and don't include a call to action. Okay, and this looks a lot better, right? We've got expert excavating contractors, reliable excavating, put CD Dirtworks at the end. There's no calls to action. So this looks a lot better. Now, the one thing you might want to do if you're working in a very localized area, you might want to say, please include the location, the city name. and or even the region name in the SEO title. And sometimes that can be important. It just depends on the kind of business that you've got. So we're going to go with these for now. So basically, I'm going to take these, copy them, and drop them over in another version of the keyword map that we have in our checklist. So right here we have meta titles and descriptions. And under meta titles and descriptions, we would do the exact same thing. We have our web page URL, our primary keyword, secondary keyword, and then we put our suggested meta title. And so what's great about this is it automatically calculates the number of characters. So we have 27 characters there. And so what we're going to do is grab these from Claude, and we'll drop them here in our suggested meta titles. All right, and then we also need to go back to our keyword map. We're going to go ahead and grab this information as well, copy it, and we'll drop that right here. So now we've got our SEO titles created. We've got a good character count. Everything is 65 characters or less. And the next step is just to do the meta descriptions. Now for the meta descriptions, since we've already given Claude a lot of this information, I'm just going to say now create. So I've just told Claude now create meta descriptions for the above titles, keep the total characters less than 155, and include a call to action for each. And so very quickly, we have some starting places for the meta descriptions. Now these usually take a little longer. We'll have to do a little bit of editing. Sometimes AI uses strange terms and you want to filter those out. So let's just check this first one. Experienced excavating contractor for all project types. We deliver quality results on time and within budget. Contact us for a free consultation today. I think that's fine. I would like to see the name of the company represented a little better, but that's not a huge deal. So we're going to go ahead and copy these, and then we'll do the same thing. We'll drop these under the suggested meta description. And so the first thing you want to check and see is make sure the character count is right, and the character count actually looks really good. Sometimes Claude will push beyond the characters for some reason, but looks like it got it right. You definitely want to check through the call to actions, the free consultation. I don't even think that's a terminology that they use. A free consultation, it's a quote. It's an estimate. So we'll probably just change that to an estimate. There's request a quote now, which is fine. Schedule an assessment. Again, kind of weird. So I would just want to talk with the client here and see what words they want to use. I mean, Claude did exactly what I asked it to do. It gave me calls to action. So this gives us a lot of things to work with. So I would then spend some time just editing these, thinking through these, talking with the client, making sure it's exactly what we want, because this is going to appear in the search engines when people search for our products and services. This is what's going to show up, the title and the description. And so then once we get everything exactly like we want it, all we'll do is just copy and paste these and drop them into Yoast. So again, back on the back end, excavating contractor servicing Central Alabama is the one we ended up going with because I really felt it was important to put the location name in there. And then we dropped in the meta description as well. And so we want to do this for all of the pages that we're targeting. But that is a massive chunk of the SEO process right there. And so we would then go back to our checklist and we would come down to this area that talks about titles and descriptions and image optimization, and we'd go ahead and just mark what we've done. And so we would say SEO page titles are under 65 characters. Yeah, we know that, right? That's completed. There are no duplicate SEO page titles. Yeah, there's no duplicates. There are no missing SEO page titles. No, none are missing. So we just go through and check where we are on everything. Now this one, each page has only one H1 tag and includes the primary keywords. That's in process. We've done that a little bit, but we need to double check and make sure everything's correct. So there's a lot more steps involved here, but this is our checklist. This is something that we've created that we use internally. This is, again, growing and changing all the time. This is something that we have made available to the public as well. You can purchase this on our website. We'll put the link in the description. And I think you'll find it really valuable. This tool is something we use really on a daily basis for all of our SEO clients. And we've seen the success that having a checklist not only helps our clients, but it also helps us to make sure that we've done everything and that we've done it the right way, helps our team communicate better. So if you don't have a checklist, I would encourage you to create one. If you like what we've created and you just want to go grab it, it's $10. Go download it. It's yours to use. And of course, if you have any questions or improvements, please let us know. Also, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. And we're going to continue working through this SEO process, SEO journey together.